Right, and it'll do that noise. Okay, well, welcome everybody. I'm Rosemary DeTrolio, and I'm the owner of Hands of Light by Rosemary, located in New Jersey, in Hope, New Jersey. And I'm a Reiki master teacher, and I've been working with energy since '97. I do angel communication. I've done that since 1993, and I've written some books which are on Amazon. So I have some middle grade and I have adult books as well. So the focus for today is really to teach you some skills. I call them maintenance skills for when you're around a lot of family, or you're in a busy, crowded place, or you're around a lot of people. We all have like an energy field around us, even though you might not be able to see it with your visible eye. It's the energy that comes from inside of you out. And it's very sensitive to energies of other people. So I want you to think about this. Have you ever had that feeling like you're walking down the street and you feel like somebody's behind you, and you turn around real quick and someone's there? That's the back of your energy field. And there's a very sensitive spot below your neckline, which feels that kind of energy. The original purpose was probably for our protection. You know, if somebody's behind you and, you know, chasing you, or a tiger, you're going to run because you know that you're in danger. So that natural emotion or feeling that's right behind you is kind of a warning signal. In today's time, we're not running from tigers, but we might be in a crowd and you might have a strange feeling that like somebody's around you. And that's the sensitivity of your energy field. The other thing I want you to consider is if you've ever had, like if you enter a room and all of a sudden you either get good vibes or bad vibes from someone that you meet. Does that ever happen to anybody? Thumbs up if yes.
Sure.
Yeah,
most definitely.
Yeah, so that is your energy field sensing someone else's energy field. And when the two fields kind of merge or touch, it's either in resonance, which means it vibes with you, or it's kind of clashy or sticky or uncomfortable. If you're a very highly sensitive person, and many people that are in the healing fields are very sensitive, what could happen is these feelings and emotions from other people's energy fields kind of stick onto yours. I kind of think of like Velcro, you know, they kind of stick on you. And then after a while, you begin feeling really like off. And I was feeling great 5 minutes ago, but now I feel off and you don't know why. That's an example of someone who's affected by someone's energy field and they may be unaware of it. So that kind of feeling, it just shows me that a person needs to develop an understanding of where their energy field is and how to clear it, which is one of the things that I'll be showing you today. The other thing that shows with really sensitive people is they feel sick to their stomach. Like I want you to think of school when you're a kid, right? There's always one kid, either in family or in a classroom, the kid that gets the stomach aches all the time. Does anybody know a kid like that or has been a kid like that? I was a kid like that. And what happens is, let's say two kids in the classroom are fighting. Well, the energy sensitive kid feels it and wants to throw up because they're feeling the energy. The other thing that happens is there's usually someone in the family that tries to numb their feelings. So you might think of, in a group of people that you know, think of the person that numbs out their feelings all the time. They could maybe have a problem with alcohol or some other substance. Sometimes it's a very energy sensitive child that has learned that they shouldn't express their feelings. And they have so many feelings so far to the surface, they don't know what to do. So they try to numb those feelings down. And I've dealt with a lot of people that are really sensitives, and they use that as a technique, I guess, to shield themselves from energy that's uncomfortable. And it's really because we don't have that kind of tribal mentality like we used to have a long time ago, where someone would say, okay, you know, you're experiencing energy. This is what you do to clear yourself. Go sit under a tree, you know, and until you seek that out, you don't even know it's available to you. As a child, I was really sensitive, and probably in my family, I was the one that was the sensitive kid that probably took things to heart, but no one really knew because I didn't really say. So I was more quiet natured in that way. And my family's really loud, you know, and they all express their feelings like, you know, like, hey, yo, yeah, yeah. And they're all like happy, loud people. And it's great, but I was one of the quiet ones. So the energy in the families are different for different members of your family and different members of your groups. So one of the skills that's really helpful that I found helpful for me, I've learned actually as an adult and going through maybe my older years when I started being aware that I was a sensitive person. So one of the techniques that I wanted to tell you about is called grounding, and I'll show you how to do that. So grounding is feeling centered. Here's how you know you're not grounded. You go to the refrigerator and you put your car keys in there because you don't remember. And then you go back and where the heck did I put my car keys? You know, that's an ungrounded person. You go to the store and you have two things on your list and then you're like, I have no idea why I'm even here in this store. I'm in the kitchen. What am I looking for? And that really forgetfulness and absent-mindedness is a couple things. One thing is that you're not in the moment. The second is that you're not grounded. And the third is that all this static energy is flying around up here and it doesn't ground to the earth. So in order for energy to be stable, you as a person needs to be grounded. And you think of a tree. Trees have roots that ground to the earth and they're open to the sunlight. We should be a complete circuit. We should be open and we should be centered and grounded. And we need both. Many of us work in buildings that might be on the second or third floor. That's not being grounded. They're up in the air in a building. So for most of their day, you have someone that's working up in the air. They're not grounded with the earth. So a few different techniques that you can use to ground with. One of them is to go outside often and stand with no shoes. Okay. The bottom of your feet are very sensitive. You have energy points on your feet. The fancy name for it, the new agey word is called earthing, but the Indians used to call it, we're connecting with Mother Earth. You know, they wore shoes that didn't block the energy of the earth. They walked barefoot on the earth. Grounding is a very centering activity. When it gets cold out in New Jersey, no one wants to walk around in the snow, but you can still stand on the lower level of your house, you know, any place that's kind of ground level, take your shoes off and do an exercise that I'm going to show you, or you can do it sitting down. Okay. So grounding then is being centered. So I'm going to put you through a very brief way that I'm going to center you and teach you an exercise that you can do anytime you feel off. And I'll show you like the longer version of sitting down. And then I will show you the Reader's Digest version of if I'm in a crowd and it's getting me crazy, what do I do? And I'll show you what I do when I'm in a crowd and I need to kind of clear and center myself. Okay. Does anyone have questions before I show you that little activity? No? No. Okay. And also, I just want to let you know if anyone has anything private and you want to put it in the chat, write to me. Later, after, I'll look at it and I can email you an answer. So just in case there's something that's uncomfortable, you want to just ask me, that's fine. Okay. So for grounding, it is a good idea to take your shoes off. If you want to, you can take your shoes off and then you're going to sit flat where your feet are flat on the ground and you're not crossing any arms or legs. When you cross things, you're closing off the circuits in your body. So you want to keep opened. And then give me a thumbs up when you're ready and you're comfortable. Okay, cool. All right. So what I'd like you to do is just take some deep breaths in and out. And then feeling the bottom of your feet flat to the earth. And I want you to picture that on the bottom of your feet, you have big, heavy roots, like the roots of a tree. And I invite you just to kind of feel that emotion of these roots going down into the center of the earth. They go down, 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 and they link you to the earth. And as you're centered, when you're breathing in and out, just picture your body's energy, just clearing and lowering down into the middle of the earth. And as you do this, you can picture yourself as a tree. As the sunlight hits the tree, it's going to feed the energy through the body. So you can actually picture sunlight or feel the warmth of the sun over your head, and it's going to just radiate over your body, down your trunk of your body, down your legs, through your knees, to the lower part of your calves, and down into the earth. Breathing in and out. And just check in on your body and see if anything feels tight, uncomfortable. And if so, just take a deep breath. Send your breath into that spot that feels uncomfortable. And then any stuck energies, just picture this light and the flow of energy going down the bottom of your feet and into the earth. Okay. And I want you to picture an emotion, a person, a feeling that brings great joy to you. Just breathe it in. And if you can imagine, think of, feel the tactile feeling of this. Think of that moment when you feel happy, and just put that into your heart center. Just kind of breathe it in and imagine in as much detail as you can what that feeling is like. Maybe you're on a beach with your feet in the sand, or you're in a forest, or you're in a boat. Whatever your place is that would bring you great joy and happiness, just breathe that into your heart center. And notice how your body feels. Notice if it feels more open. If you can actually radiate that feeling into your body, especially if there's areas of pain, just breathe in that happy feeling to the areas that still might feel tight or uncomfortable or heavy. Okay, and then you can slowly open your eyes. Okay, so anyone want to give feedback on how they felt during that, or if they were able to feel different than when before?
Well, I definitely started smiling.
You started smiling.
Feeling of happiness. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Deeper breathing.
Good, good. And a lot of people walk around so stressed that they're disconnected with that feeling of a calm body, because the other feels so natural, because that's a state of like fight or flight that most of us will run around in all the time. So that's good. Any other feelings that we had that you want to share, anybody?
I had a really nice feeling of calmness, of happy calmness.
Happy calmness.
Yeah.
Okay. Did any of you feel heavy, like when we did the grounding? I know a lot of times people say they feel heavier, like they feel like more, like just a little heavier to the ground. Did anyone have that feeling in their body?
Yeah, I did.
Nancy, you did? Were you saying it? Or, yes.
No, yes, I did.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, I guess that's the feeling that I would have had. I didn't have a peaceful feeling. I was having trouble focusing.
Yes.
Although my feet felt grounded. I do know what I do walk on the grass without shoes. Good. And so I was not.
You're up here. That's why, Nancy, you're a thinker. So it's for people that are really chattery up in their mind and very busy people. It's almost like I'm wasting time sitting here. I should be doing something. And then you start making the list, right? So I've done that because I'm a busy person. So for me, it's hard for me to get in that space unless I consciously practice. So for you, that would be really helpful, is to practice that kind of centering. Okay, the next one I want to show you is actually clearing your energy field. And it's similar to it because I start you with grounding, because whenever you do any kind of upper work, I like to ground and center the person beforehand, because I don't want you flying off like a balloon on a string. I want to keep you here on the earth. I don't want you astral traveling during this experience. So that's for another time. For today, I'm keeping you grounded and centered. And then you're going to visualize, and I'm going to give you some things to think about. Now, here's the thing. Some of you may be more visual people. Visual people are very comfortable with the sense of seeing things, and they can quickly draw an image to their mind. I'm not as visual as I am sensory. So if I think of the beach, and we could try this and just see what comes up. Just close your eyes. I'm just going to tell you the word, and then I want you to tell me what came to your mind. Okay, so I'm going to have you think of the beach. Just think of the beach.
Yellow sand.
Okay, so Nadia, you're thinking of the yellow sun. Okay,
The sand.
Rolling waves.
the waves. Okay,
The waves.
you think of the
Palms.
waves.
Mhm.
Okay,
Sand,
you're thinking of the sand.
Walking,
Walking, you're thinking of the action. How about-
Breeze on my skin.
What is it?
Breeze on my skin.
Breeze on your skin, that's sensory. Okay,
Well, the waves, I hear them.
You
It's
hear
just
them.
The calming
that's
of the waves.
auditory. So
Yeah.
that skill for hearing the waves, that's auditory. That's a listening skill. And for you, that might be like the comfortable way that you calm down is with music and listening to things. Lou, what did you, when you see beach?
Seagulls
Seagull,
walking in the background.
sound? The
Yeah,
sound.
the sounds of
sounds.
seagulls. Yeah,
Because for you, music calms you too, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
So what if you see and hear it? So the rolling waves and the crashing
Visual.
of the waves. Yeah.
Visual and auditory. So visual is the sight of seeing, which
Yeah.
means like if you're a person that's very visual, for you to go outdoors and look at the forest area, you'll pull in the sights and that's calming. If you're also auditory, you're going to key in on the sounds of the birds and the sounds of the breeze. I mean, we all have all these senses. It's just that some of them are more comfortable for us and more readily available than others, and that's natural. We all have something that we can draw up faster than something else. Nancy, what was yours?
I was lucky enough to live next to Puget Sound for 30 years in Seattle, so I immediately saw the view from my apartment, felt the energy and the expansiveness of the water, and smelled the salt in the air all at once.
Okay, so you've got a lot of senses that you're already working with that are open, and the sense, you know, there's people that also, I had somebody I met through one of these things I did that tastes the word. So it's called synesthesia, and it's a combination that of like if someone says New York City, they taste toast, or you know the taste of the city. And it's another kind of sense where two senses are combining in your brain to give you a multi-sensory experience, which would be so cool. But you know, there's certain things you just, you know, you don't really want to taste. So I don't know about that one. Bob, how did you experience it? And you're muted, by the way, Bob. Bob's muted.
I experienced a variety of images, but one of them that came to me was a little inlet tide where the waves were coming in with the sunlight behind it in La Perouse Bay on Maui.
Are you a painter?
No, I'm a musician.
Okay, I was going to say either music or paint would be my next thing. Yeah, that's a multi sensory kind of experience as well. So we all have these different ways to experience. How this helps you is if I'm feeling like jangled up and nervous, I will know certain things that will calm me down. So for instance, when I'm jangled up and nervous, I'm really sensory. So I will take a hot bath, because for me, the sensory experience of a hot salt bath not only cleans the energy field, but it calms me down because I'm in warm water. Okay, so sensory people, they need a lot of the touch. They need a lot of the you know, the warm water, the breeze. You know, it's very sensory. People that love to cook. Well, I love to cook. So the sense of cooking and cutting vegetables and smelling the food as the pasta's cooking, you know, like that's really a hit for me. And those kind of things are bringing in the sense of smell and taste, and maybe the sizzle of a steak is the auditory. So you have to find, you like kind of notice which senses are right there for you, because that's your key for what you can do when you get out of sorts. Okay. So the next one I'm going to give you, I'm going to ground you. And if you have trouble, like if I say, you know, feel roots, and you're like, I can't feel roots, you know, you can imagine roots. Well, I can't see roots. Then you experience it the way that you experience it. It could be the feeling of it. It could be the sense of it, the color, looking at it, whatever way that you can imagine it is the right way for you. Okay, so I'm going to bring you into the tree, and then I'm going to bring you from the tree to a clearing exercise, and then we're going to also check in on your body again. Okay, we all ready? Any questions before we begin? Okay, all right. So I invite you just to take a few deep breaths in and out. And again, you are like the tree. So I'd like you to imagine very heavy, deep roots from the bottom of your feet, heading down to the center of the earth. And these roots are going to keep you anchored to the earth. The tree is strong. The wind can blow through it, but it will not blow the tree over. The wind can sustain the storms. It could sustain the winds, the rain. Even a tornado cannot knock this tree down because it's grounded and centered. This tree is you. The tree has beauty to it. It has branches. Each branch is a different part of your personality, a different part of who you are. We are all multi-branched people with many, many offshoots of all the things and all the parts and pieces of who we are. And none of it is wrong. It's all who we are. I'd like you to imagine or see or feel a bright ball of light, which is the sunlight, again, in the sky over the tree. This sun is so brilliant and so warming that as it casts a light upon your body, this warming glow warms up your shoulders, your head, the trunk of your body, your legs, your knees, your feet. And this warming sunlight is full of love. It's full of self-acceptance. It's full of peacefulness. This tree is you. And anytime you can come back to this bright ball of light and allow it to clear you. Then the rains will come. The sun will move and the rains will come. And the clearing water will wash over the tree. And as it does, anything that's stuck around the tree that doesn't belong, any feeling, emotion, thought that doesn't serve your highest good will be washed away into the earth. Only the good can stay behind in this protected bubble that you're in. As this tree, you are strong. You are open. You are willing to let the light shine on you, and you're willing to let the roots anchor you in the earth. Do a quick check-in on your body and just see if there's any areas of your body that still feels tense. And if so, take a deep breath in and out and allow this light to clear that spot. Okay, the sun comes out again, and you're going to draw the energy of the sun down into your heart center. Allow this light from the sun to shine brightly in your heart center. And as it does, you're going to give yourself a remembrance, a reminder. Your reminder is there is nothing but light in this protected space. Any thought that no longer serves my highest good, I'm going to release. Judgments don't belong in this heart center. Judgments are negative. Judgments are fear. I will allow this light to fill my energy field and fill me, and to keep me peaceful and centered. I want you to slowly come back into the room. Some of you are having such a good time on that tree. Okay, how are we feeling?
Relaxed.
Relaxed. All right, so that's a longer version of what I would do. I was in a very busy, like a seminar a couple of years ago before COVID. And it had a lot of people, a lot of energy flying around. And normally if you're a pretty sensitive person, you can do that for a while, but then you start feeling really wiped out. So what I did is I went in the bathroom and I just stood straight, almost like the tree pose in yoga, where your feet are flat, your arms are down, and you're standing tall like a tree. And what I did is I, closed the bathroom door, put my roots down from the bottom of my feet, and then I made a conscious mantra. Anything that's attached to my energy field, I release it now. And then I kind of swept my body, like my arms and my body. And then I took a couple deep breaths to center myself. And then I went back in the room. I felt much better after doing that activity. Many people go through life, they don't know they're sensitive. They only know that they're really annoyed when they're in a group and they don't know why. Or they're in a crowd, like, I feel like crap, I don't know why. It's because you're not aware of the energy. So if you're one of those kind of people that gets jangled up in crowds, you don't like people around you, chances are you were an energy sensitive kid and you just never knew it. And no one ever told you. So what I would tell you is maintenance. So just even the intention of like sweeping off your energy field is very clearing. I had done that for children when I was teaching. I used to teach kids how to like scrub their energy, but I would say, let's scrub away the bad thoughts. And I'd have them kind of like do the same motion with their hands and literally see the energy like run off their bodies. And then I would teach them to be a tree. Let's pretend we're trees and we'd like put our roots down. So I was actually teaching them techniques they can use when they felt out of sorts. The other thing to notice, and I've done this for kids and it's good for adults too. Let's say you're going to a crowded room and you've got to pick a seat in the room and you're a very sensitive person. Your energy field extends about 3 to 4 feet around you, depending upon how big and how expansive it is. When you're sitting really close, the two energy fields are merging. Let's say you've got a really prickly person to your right and you got to sit near that person. You are in their energy field. So one of the things that I would tell you to do is if you have a choice of a seat, pick a corner seat or where there's a wall somewhere behind you because that's protected, and kind of eyeball who's around you before you sit down. That'll save you a lot of trouble when you're in a crowd. Okay. If you're in a movie theater, you got the elbow person that, wants the seat rest, or on a plane, you can picture yourself grounded with a bubble of light around you. And then, again, if I've attached with any energies that aren't mine, please release them. Just saying that to yourself helps you to release that energy that is not your own. Because sometimes you'll pick up energies you don't even know you are. It's kind of like we're hermit, the hermit shell that's got all the junk on it. After a while, we look like that hermit crab. We get all that junk on us. We don't even know why we feel lousy. And the reason why clearing is important is because if you don't clear it out, those energies work your way into your body. And before you know it, you have a neck ache. You got a stomach ache. Your knees hurt you. You don't feel well and you don't know why. It's because those energies are emotional energies that get stuck in your body. Okay. When I was teaching kids, the most energy sensitive kids, I'd make sure where I sat them in the classroom. I always put them in end seat, away from another kid that I know was noisy, so I would place them where they energetically would do the best. It's kind of like planting a plant, you want to plant them in different places to see what happens. Because sensitive kids are more energetically sensitive to groups of people, just like we are as adults. So those techniques will help you. Again, the salt bath, awesome. If you have Epsom salt and baking soda, take a bath. That's great, not only when you're getting a cold or flu, but it's really good to clear your energy field when you've been in a crowd. It energetically does that, and it's got magnesium, which is great for muscles. So that's another great thing to do. If you have essential oils, you can diffuse orange or lemon, which is very uplifting and it kills germs. So that's another thing that you can do. You could drink some of Fran's wonderful teas that she sells. So there's lots of wonderful clearing things that you can do for yourself when you're feeling out of sorts. Does anyone have questions on any of the clearing or want to share anything? You guys are quiet tonight.
I'm curious, Rosemary. So when I, for example, work with a client and I know they're under stress,
Yes,
so when I'm looking into, in fact, knowing what senses are dominant for them, if she's visual and auditory, so discovering that, we can actually find a way she can de-stress,
yes,
calm down, cleanse ground through those activities that support those senses.
exactly.
That is amazing.
Yes, when I
What a
worked with kids too, like the kids that were really, energy sensitive, I would have earphones in the back of my classroom and I'd have music playing. And I would put in like the kind of activates two sides of the brain for the kids with ADD. And I would have, Mozart music or just calming wordless music for those auditory kids that needed that kind of stimulation. So music for people that are auditory is great. Even dancing, like some people that are really sensory, they need that music to dance. So when they're in a bad mood, I have a friend of mine that she jams up the jam, she starts dancing in her living room. That's great too. So you have to find the thing that is your thing that's comfortable. If you're visual, again, watercolors, painting, photographing things, whatever your skill set is that makes you feel comfortable. Making bread, pulling weeds. When I'm annoyed, I go out and pull weeds. I have a really good garden on some days because I pull weeds. So that's very grounding. Making pizza dough, grounding, making bread, anything that gets you in your body and out of your head. Exercise, wonderful. So anything that gets you shifted away from the mind chatter into your body and into your awareness is great. Yeah. Questions?
Great.
Yeah. So try some of these things. And, if you want to email me, I'm going to give you, it's info@rosemaryd.com. Okay. So you can email me something that you tried that worked or didn't work for you. And if some of you may have a really great idea that I haven't thought of that you want to share, does anyone have an idea of what they do when they feel out of sorts? Something not destructive though. Break windows.
Well, to do a breathe from the stomach and then start counting down from the top of my head.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
back to the breath, I guess they call it.
Breath. Yeah. You're counting breaths. I do that sometimes if I can't get to sleep at night. I'll count
That's what I
breaths.
do when same here.
Yeah.
I'm laying there and I can't go to sleep. I concentrate on that.
Yeah.
Breathing in the stomach
Yes.
is just in, out, plus the focus on the top to the nose all the way down. And I go to sleep. Either
That's
that
good.
or I totally wake up and it's gone,
That's good.
Most of the time it puts me to sleep.
Yeah.
I was having trouble focusing on anything during this whole thing, I guess, because I'm totally wired today.
Yeah.
But I'm calmer now and I'm ready for a nap. So.
Well, that's good. That puts you to sleep. Hey, it's something.
Yeah, I do the 5-5-7 breath. It's in 5, hold it for 5, and then out 7. So, and I teach my clients too to do that for 10 times because it's 2 minutes of calming and that'll center them.
That's good.
And that helps me go to sleep at night. I got it for free from my beautiful wife, and I do that regularly, and it does help me fall asleep.
I love that. Your energy looks very good today, John. I want to tell you that. It looks more vibrant. So good for you. Yeah.
I also learned the technique which I use with my clients sometimes before the coaching session. A friend of mine taught me, I think she calls it cut the energy. That's how I call. So if you had a really intense conversation or somebody drained your energy or got into your nerves, so any kind of movement that would have a cross motion. So she was saying 16 squats, and I let my ladies either just stick, the butt out or sit back in the chair, touch the opposite knees, and then stand up and cross the air. So 16 of those. It's not that you just shake that energy out, but you actually will be ready to sit down.
Yeah.
And Shake hands, just shaky boogie boogie. So anything that will shake that energy, that just works
That's
magic.
great. They have something like that in Tai Chi too, where they do the slapping the body, you know, to wake it up and to let it go, and stamping the feet,
Tapping.
because there's grounding points on the bottom of the feet. So stamping the feet. That's why when kids are angry, like they stamp their feet. They're letting go the anger. It's coming through the bottom of the feet, but it's a natural thing that people do when they're really little, and sometimes when they're older too. I don't know. Yeah.
What about throwing things? Does that help?
It depends who you're throwing it at, I guess. I don't know.
Or just
What and
throwing
where,
things,
yes.
just slamming things around and throwing things when you're angry.
Medicine ball.
I guess you could. I don't know. I'm not a thrower. Like, it takes a lot for me to get angry. So like, it really has to be extreme for me to raise my voice, honestly, which is probably not great, but it takes a lot for me to yell.
Well, and it's like if you go to the gym, you can grab a medicine ball or those battle ropes.
That's true. The ropes.
Get
Yeah.
that power, energy.
Yeah.
I love those.
Yeah. That's great. How about the men of the group here? Lou, are you the music, listening to music when you need to calm, or?
And when I come, it depends, this reminds me a lot of what I did when I was younger, which was like astral projection. I got into that really for a while.
Yeah.
And if I'm laying down and I can't sleep, I just concentrate on relaxing one part of my body at a time. And you can just feel it getting pulled down and till it feels heavy.
That's
and just
cool.
totally at ease. And I work that way all up to my head. And by the time I'm done, I'm usually asleep.
Yeah.
Doesn't
We had
work.
done something like that with the astral, the remote viewing. One of my classes for developing intuition, we practiced with remote viewing with people that had no experience at all, and that's a cool experience where you can actually visualize and kind of leave your consciousness and move it somewhere, which is very similar to that. That's really cool.
Mhm.
Yeah. Bob, how about you? What do you do when you want to calm yourself?
Well, I'm generally actually pretty calm.
You seem calm, but I don't know. I don't know you, so I'm asking.
Yeah. Well, I've practiced TM for 51 years. So
Oh, well, there you go.
that kind of creates a little bit. But then I work out with Nadia, particularly the strength workouts that are very, very intense.
Yeah. Wonderful.
Whatever was going on before is definitely not going on anymore.
Yeah, you're too tired to think about it, right?
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. Beverly, you were going to say.
So I work with children, and it's controlled in some ways, but ripping paper, and making something and ripping up paper.
Yeah.
And it's not destroying something. It's just something that we do, and then sometimes throwing it up in the air and letting it come down. But I saw that in a grief activity where ripping up something and then taking the pieces and making it into something. So transforming it. And I thought that's kind of powerful, especially when it has to do with grief and loss.
Very cool. Yeah, that's a good idea. I've told people to do like rip it up, put it under a plant, and then like donate, like put a plant on top of it. And then if they lost somebody, that plant becomes the new growth, but that's a cool idea. I like that. Yeah. Nancy, how about you? Do you have any skills you're already using for that?
For me, it's my job's very stressful, as you know. So for me, I need to go home. I need to have that quietness. I need a half hour of me time just to kind of sit and decompress, and breathing really helps me quite a bit.
That's great. That's great. Yeah. Yeah. So let me know if you have any questions or you want to contact me. It's info@rosemaryd.com and my website, rosemaryd.com as well. And if you're really bored, you have nothing to do, I'm going to be on the radio on a podcast again on December 18th. And if you're on my mailing list, you'll probably get the information about that next one that I'll be doing. So, yeah. That's
so
it.
Are you being interviewed?
Yeah, it's Dr. Pep Basili on Transformation Talk Radio. And I did 2 segments on there already, and they're on my website. And then the third one I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about Reiki, which is energy work that I do, and probably angels and intuition again. She may ask me more questions. We kind of started with that, the first 2 segments. So that's what I think is going to happen.
Well, very good. I will see you again.
Okay, any questions, anybody?
Thank
All
you
good?
very much.
Thank you, Rosemary. This was
Okay,
wonderful.
thank you,
Thank you.
everybody.
Nice to meet everyone.
Thank you. It was fun.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy
Thank you.
Thanksgiving to
Happy
everybody.
Thanksgiving.
Bye, Jolie.
All right.
Bye, Fran.
Bye.
Bye, Rosemary. Bye,
Bye.
Brady Bunch people.
Take care.
Bye.